Hey everybody, so we are going to talk about adding money using decimal places. So if you need a little help with understanding how the US money works, I recommend you go to our channel and check out the money video first, because that will help you with what we're going to do next. So when we talked about money, we talked about how we have paper money, like dollars, and coin money called cents. So if you remember, we need 100 of these little pennies to make just one of these dollars. We need 20 nickels, which is the little money. It's bigger than a dime and smaller than a quarter. We need 20 of those to make $1. Do you remember how many dimes we need? We need 10 dimes to make up a dollar and quarters. Do you remember how many quarters? We need 4 quarters to make up $1. So we can consider a dollar a whole, and these are just parts of what can make up a dollar. So when we looked at how we write money, so we're going to write it today in the dollar form. So let's see, if I write something like 0.50, how much money would that be? If you said 50 cents, you're absolutely right. So it could also be written like this, and it would look like 2 quarters. So it's not yet a whole dollar. So let's see, what if we wrote something like this? What would this be? If you said $1.25, you would be absolutely right. So you would have one of these dollars and 1 quarter. So we have 1 whole dollar and just a part of a dollar. So when we look at our decimals, we can look at this as dollars and as cents. So dollars and cents. We can also look at this as a whole and this as a part. So we have whole and parts. So if we're going to add a little money together, so let's say I have 50 cents plus 50 cents. So what's going to help us is something really handy called a 100 square. In our 100 square, we have 100 different pieces. So it's kind of like our dollar if we think about it. So in our dollar, we have 100 of these little pennies. So we can use our 100 square to represent $1. So let's see, if I have 50 cents, so I know I have 50 cents, so I'm going to color in my 100 square to 50. So I'm going to just color it all in. All right, so I have it all colored. And let's see, do I have a whole dollar colored? No, I don't have a whole dollar colored. I just have a part of a dollar, which is why in the dollar space I have a 0, and in the cent space I have 50, because it's saying I have 50 or half of my 100 squares in my dollar colored. All right, so we're going to add to it 50 cents. So I'm going to get a new color, and we're going to count on this same dollar. So let's say I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So let's see, how many squares do I have colored? I would now have 100 squares colored. In these 100 squares, is my whole dollar colored or just half of my dollar? Right, my whole dollar is colored. So let's see, if we look at this, would it make sense for me to write here 0.01 100? No, would mean I have only 10 cents. So because I can see I have one whole dollar colored, I need to move my 1 to the other side of the decimal. So I'm going to have 0.50 plus 0.50. So we know that 0 plus 0 is 0. We know that 5 plus 5 is 10. And we need to bring down the decimal. We cannot move it. And 1 plus 0 is 1. So we would have $1. And we can see that. We have 100 cents. But because 100 cents equals a whole dollar, as we can see by my whole dollar being colored, we move our 1 to the other side of the decimal point to show we have $1 colored. So for our next example, we are going to try with 60 cents plus 20 cents. So first, I'm going to color in 60 of my squares. So this time, I'm going to use yellow. So I'll color in 60 squares. So I'll quickly get my 60 squares colored because I know that it is on, my numbers are on this side of the decimal point, which means that we're in cents. We're also going to add 20 cents. So I will also color this yellow. So I'll count 10, color it, and 10 more. Let's see. So the first thing we can ask, is our whole dollar colored? No, our whole dollar is not colored. So should anything go on this side of the decimal place? No, we should only have a 0 here. So now we can count our squares. We can go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So we know 0 and 0 is 0, and 6 and 2 is 80. So remember, if we have our whole dollar colored in, all 100 squares, we're going to put a number in this spot other than 0, in our dollar spot. If our whole square is not colored in, our whole dollar is not colored, we're going to only use the cent side. And we can use this strategy to figure out lots of numbers. So if I had 70 cents plus even 50 cents, I could use my square. I could start by coloring in 70. So on this, I will use my square. I could do 70. So I'll continue it in the pink. So I'll color in 70 squares. So this time in the purple. So you see I have 70 squares colored in. Now I'm going to color in 50 more. So I'm going to count by tens and do 10, 10, 20, 30. This color does not like me, so I'm going to switch to a green. 30. I'm going to then have 40. And 50. So we're just looking at the green and purple colors. So let's see. I have one whole dollar colored in and a part of another dollar. So we are going to make sure that there's 1 in this spot. So let's look. And we always can just carry our decimal point right away because that should not move. So we know we have 1 and 10 and 20. So let's check with the math. 0 and 0 is 0. 7 plus 5 is 12. But I can't write 12 right here. I need to carry the 2 or write the 2, carry the 1, and I would get $1.20. Remember, on this side are dollars or wholes, and this is parts. And as you can see, we have 1 whole dollar and 2 or 20 parts of the 100. So that's how we get our 1 whole and 20 parts. This decimal place is very important because if we move it and don't carry it straight down, we could have this. What does this mean? This means $12, and that's very different from $1.20. So we need to make sure we carry the decimal place straight down, and we know how many wholes we're having and how many parts we're having. This is a little complicated, so if you have any questions, be sure to ask. But keep going, you guys got it, and have a great evening.